Dolphins fans, how are we doing today? It's Ben Morgan of the Fins Up Network. Joint practice for our Dolphins against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers today. I'm going to say it, unfortunately, the final practice, training camp practice for the Miami Dolphins this offseason. And I know it's a good thing because the final practice means, you know what? We're about to wrap up preseason. Regular season's right around the corner. We don't have to worry about guys getting injured in practice anymore. For some reason, I got this illness. I got this disease where I just absolutely love training camp. And yeah, some of the days to be able to compile everything, it's a bit of a grind, but I wanted to start today's video by just saying thank you to all of the people that are those diehards right along there with me that love training camp, that love the reports. Any new subscribers, those that have liked on the videos, commented on the videos. I should have compiled a list of specific people as well, but you probably know who you are by now. But thank you, as always, for joining with on the Fins Up Network here throughout training camp. If you haven't gotten subscribed yet, make sure you are doing that as well. We'll be wrapping up preseason action. We'll be getting you ready for the regular season. Then, obviously, when that hits, we'll be doing game previews, reviews, having guests, all that fun stuff as well. Dolphins fans, though, before we jump into today's training camp report, let's hear what you're looking forward to on Friday in that regular season finale against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Maybe it's a position that you got your eye on. Maybe it's a certain guy or two that are maybe on that roster bubble. Let's hear your thoughts. Go ahead, drop them in the comments. Let's start out with some player news and notes from today. I do have a couple of highlights that I'm going to get to from today's practice as well. I got a couple sprinkled in here. But let's start with the 2-minute drill work and then some goal line work that the teams did towards the end of practice, because quite honestly, that's probably the most exciting part of these type of practices. But in Tua Tagovailoa's turn with the 2-minute drill, he started with a completion to Braxton Berrios for a short gain. On second down, his pass went incomplete. Third down was a miscommunication between Tua and Malik Washington. Pass ends up falling incomplete. They go forward on fourth down. He connects on a short pass to Raheem Mostert. However, by all accounts, looks like Raheem Mostert ended up a little bit short. So the team, yes, does pay for throwing it short of the sticks on fourth down. Now, in Tua's goal line situation, in this situation, the ball's on the 2-yard line, and it appears it's like a do or die situation. So it's either fourth down from the 2 or it's essentially the last seconds of the game. Tua's turn, he succeeded. He hit De'Von Achane on a screen pass for a touchdown. In Skylar Thompson's turn, his pass was intended for Jody Fortson, who was back at practice today. However, it was broken up by Buccaneers cornerback Zion McCullen. And speaking of Zion McCullen, he actually got the best of Tua Tagovailoa on the first pass of team drills today. He actually picked off Tua. Tua, however, did bounce back, settle in. My apologies if the video jumped there. I went to bring up the video and I clicked the wrong button, so I had to pause real quick. But this is the play I was talking about. It's Tua, nice chunk gain there on an out to Braxton Berrios. We'll show it again here. And the Dolphins social media team love it because they give us this footage, but at the end of the day, quit zooming in on the ball. I've ranted about that in the past. I won't have to do it again today. Regardless, let's talk about the Buccaneers and their goal line situations. Baker Mayfield, he had his pass knocked down by Calais Campbell, who had a big day, which we'll talk about more here in a second. And then when Kyle Trask was given his goal line situation, his pass was broken up by Nick Needham. Obviously, the team's joint practice here on Wednesday leading up to their preseason finale on Friday. Mike McDaniel said some starters probably will get action in that game. Some of the other ones obviously won't be playing. He did say that both Mike White and Skylar Thompson would get snaps in Friday's game. Like I said, my assumption is that Tua won't. And stay tuned to the very end. I have a little nugget on that quarterback situation as well. Let's jump into some other player notes from the day, though, as Travis Wingfield noted that it was a tough day for the Miami Dolphins ground game when it was really anything in between the tackles. However, he did say that they sprung a handful of outside runs, including a 25-yard touchdown by Raheem Mostert and a 50-yard touchdown around the edge by De'Von Achane. So obviously we like to see that. Got to clean some stuff in the middle, though, because you're not going to make your living on the edges at all points in time. probably comes down to that interior of the offensive line. Achane hit the 50-yard touchdown. Tua also hit Achane on a wheel route that would have went for 6 against Buccaneers Bryce Hall. On to the wide receivers. Jalen Waddle did return to practice today, although it was basically on a limited basis. He's definitely on track for week 1. He wouldn't have missed a single game had all this stuff went down in the regular season. It was all very precautionary stuff. So really nothing to see there. Tyreek Hill, he showed up to practice yesterday with the ham brace. It's being called a right thumb injury. He actually worked without the brace today. However, he was not active in any of the team drills. Eric Ezukanma was noted for a chunk yardage completion for Skylar Thompson. That's the good, the bad, as is the case with Eric Ezukanma too often. Spotted limping after one of the 11-on-11 sessions. Sounds like he was attended to by one of the trainers. So we'll be keeping an eye out for updates there as well. Jaquan Burton also caught a touchdown from Mike White. Wrapping up the wide receiver notes real quick. This isn't from today, but wanted to add it anyways. Was told there's at least a chance of Odell Beckham starting the season kind of on that, like that short-term IR opportunity to come off, or at least being inactive, something along those lines. So there's definitely a chance that he is not ready to go by week 1. We'll keep an eye on that as well. We talked a little bit about this in yesterday's report with who might be able to step up into that role, because Odell Beckham Jr., by all accounts, was going to be this team's third, basically most relied upon pass catching option into 2024, may not start the season that way. Tight ends, Tanner Connor, Jody Fortson both did shed the no red contact jerseys today. I don't often show highlights of any of the one-on-one drills in practice. I think you probably get the least out of those of anything that they do in practices. But this was a pretty cool catch by Jonnu Smith, so I wanted to add it today. Skylar's going to be on the throw here. Goes up and gets it. Maintains the control of the ball as the defender was trying to get his hand in there. Pretty cool little pirouette at the end for the touchdown. Like I said, a one-on-one drill. I'm not putting too much stock in it. Regardless, a pretty cool catch. From the offensive line today, not much. Aaron Brewer did some conditioning. He did some conditioning work on the sideline. Still did have a wrap on that right hand. As of what I last heard, team's not ruling out week 1, but like I said, I haven't heard an update on him for a little bit of time now. Defensively, Travis Wingfield, a couple other reporters noted Tampa Bay's offensive line had some trouble today blocking Calais Campbell and Zach Sieler. We already talked about we talked about Campbell. He also got in on a sack of Baker Mayfield during team drills. Sieler added 2 sacks in 11-on-11 drills. It didn't end there for the defensive linemen, though, as Brandon Peely sacked Baker Mayfield in red zone work as well. He has been really coming on late here in camp, the last preseason game. Definitely a guy that's on my watch list to keep an eye on Friday as he tries to solidify one of these roster spots as well. Jalen Phillips was present there today, did not participate in team drills. David Long was also back at practice today as well. Good to see that injury he suffered last Saturday against the Commanders didn't end up being anything serious. Obviously, we don't want any more damn injuries. Omar Kelly tweeted, this is an exact tweet. He said, "The Bucs are running on Chop. The rep is out." So yeah, if you watched yesterday's video, that matches up perfectly with what we said about teams really trying to run right at Chop because he's using his speed to his disadvantage at this point in time and really overrunning plays. Like we said, talked in that video, go back and check it out if you haven't yet. Team is aware of this. Team is working on trying to overcome these issues. Does sound like Chop Robinson and then Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive tackle Tristan Wirfs had some very solid one-on-one reps with each player winning a couple of times. Chop actually, of all things, went up and greeted him, shook his hand before they started those drills, a nice little sign of respect. Was also told that Chop wasn't scared to ask Tristan Wirfs questions, and Wirfs was actually giving him some insight as well. So really good on both and getting the most of these joint practices. Nice to see a rookie being able to talk to a vet like that. Quentin Bell and Jonathan Harris also teamed up for a sack on Baker Mayfield. We'll wrap up here with the secondary. Jordan Poyer, Ethan Bonner both returned to at least some team drills today as well. Travis Wingfield called Ethan Bonner a man possessed today. Said he was sticking with guys in coverage all day, had a big pop behind the line of scrimmage that got the sideline fired up. So he definitely came out like a man ready to prove something after being sidelined a little bit there with his injury. Kendall Fuller had a pass breakup on a Baker Mayfield pass. However, he did give up a 40-yard completion to Cody Thompson. Sounds like actually the coverage was there. It wasn't a bad coverage play, just a great throw by Baker Mayfield. Storm Duck got some first team reps today at cornerback and actually ended up holding his own. I'm really curious going into kind of like cut week here next week, how Chris Grier is going to handle this secondary in general, but then also the cornerback position. I'm really curious to see who's able to stick and then who maybe they try to stash on the practice squad. But that's a guy I'll be keeping my eye on. On Friday as well, Mark Perry, the undrafted free agent that I really thought we'd be calling his name a little bit more during these training camp reports. However, we just wasn't in the stars. He did have a pick six today after breaking an out route on a throw from Kyle Trask. So good on Mark Perry making a splash here at the end of training camp. However, Patrick McMorris was evaluated by a trainer, appears to be a lower body injury. I don't have anything outside of that on that particular injury as of today. We'll come back with more if we end up having an update there. Preseason finale against the Bucs. Like I said, that's what I've got for a training camp to report today. But one quick final note that I wanted to talk about. Dorian Thompson-Robinson of the Cleveland Browns, quarterback. He's reportedly on the trade block, and I can confirm that the Miami Dolphins are at least interested. I was told that a deal that Miami would make isn't going to knock the Cleveland Browns' socks off. However, there is at least interest on the Miami Dolphins end with Thompson-Robinson being on the trade block. Miami Dolphins want to upgrade that backup quarterback position. It's going to be interesting to see how these quarterbacks play on Friday against the Buccaneers. I will wrap it there for today, Dolphins fans. Like I said in the intro, thank you very much for joining throughout training camp. If you haven't gotten subscribed yet, do that, as we'll be back with multiple videos each week once the regular season hits, and we'll be doing some stuff to preview the regular season as well. Thought my predictions for 53-man roster, actual thoughts on the 53-man roster once it comes out, season prediction videos. We got it all. We will be doing it all, so just get subscribed, and we will be back as soon as we have some more information. We'll kill it there for today, Dolphins fans, but until next time, fins up.